He's going to get probably a lot of support as well. We received the white card, and he's a very nice guy. He's very talented. He's got a good serve, forehand, and plays a lot of slice. Mixes up the game. He's got a great touch. So, obviously, this kind of matchups, and he doesn't have much to lose. So he's going to go out. He's going to try, probably come out with some shots in a game that will probably disrupt my rhythm and use the momentum, use the crowd, the first match, and that's why I take it very seriously, and I will try to prepare for that one best possible way.
Okay. Did you not play enough tennis lately, or why did you decide to play doubles, which you do very rarely?
Well, again, historically, the tournaments where I played the most doubles were usually, the Indian Wells, Dubai, Monte Carlo, first tournament of the clay season. So usually when I have a bit of a break of several weeks and I start a new swing of the tournaments, I would start also playing doubles as well, because I feel like it's a great way of preparing myself for the singles as well, of having some match play. This tournament is going to be different because I'm going to start with singles and then I'm going to play doubles later on. And I'm glad to play with Marin. We never played together, and we've been talking about it for years. So I have serious intention for doubles. I don't play doubles very often, but when I do, I like to try to play as best as I possibly can. I don't have, obviously partners that I played with so often in my career. Viktor Tritsky would probably be the one that I played with the most. I'm going to play with him in Indian Wells. So I don't play much doubles, but Dubai was also one of the tournaments where I played a lot of doubles as well in the past. So it's not really surprising to myself that I wanted to be part of this tournament in doubles.
Novak, welcome in Dubai.
Thank you.
And good luck in the tournament. And congratulations for the ATP Cup with the first issue. You play Davis Cup and you win it. You play ATP Cup and you won the difference. And also about your season, always you change plan for starting season, Mubadala and ATP Cup, and you go to Australia sometime. No, you don't do anything until Australia moment. What do you think is more comfortable?
I think there was only 1 year where I just played Australian Open with skipping Mubadala and opening week of the season, and that was probably due to a very late finish, and I decided with the team that it's maybe better to just go to Australia. But most of the times I play at least one lead-up event to Australian Open, and this last season and beginning of this season particularly was quite particular because it was a very late finish, literally last week of November, and then we started the season just before New Year's. So you had maybe 5 weeks to rest and prepare, which comparing to other sports is extremely short, and for the rest and for preparations. But it's not the first time. I've experienced that before, and I'm really glad that I was part of the ATP Cup and that we, as a Serbian team, won the inaugural ATP Cup, which I thought it was a great success in general as a competition. It was very well organized. I actually liked the fact that it was spread out to about 10 days. So it gave us time between matchups to rest. We had in the group stages a day between, and we moved to a different city in the country to play quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. We enjoyed a lot of support from the Serbian community there. So for me, it was not a better way to start off the season, and it was the best possible confidence booster for Australian Open.
Then what about the Davis Cup? Do you think it's ATP is enough, like team competition?
Well, in which way? You mean it's enough?
It's a different, Davis Cup is like stages, and
Yeah.
you play home and away
Yes.
like this.
Yes,
But
yes.
this one is like.
Well, the format is very similar, but there is some difference and differences, particularly something that players don't like. I as well, personally, what I don't like with Davis Cup is that you don't have a possibility to play at home anymore. ATP Cup was like playing at home for us because we had a tremendous support in Australia, but again, it's 10 years in Australia. So it's really difficult to call these competitions World Cups, because there is no world if you keep it in one place for 10 years. And so for 99% of the nations, they will not have the possibility for many, many years to host a tie at home unless you play the qualification tie for the final 7 days in Madrid. So I understand that the changes, the need for change, and obviously the older format had its advantages of playing home and away. But there was also lack of top players' involvement in Davis Cup because of the scheduling weeks. So I understand there was a need to change the format, and I supported that. But I think conceptually there are some things that have to be different because they have to allow more nations to host at least group stages. For example, I mean, I wouldn't have. How many nations you have in Madrid?
18.
18. I wouldn't have 18 nations. I would have top four, final four, or elite 8, and then have in an earlier phase of the year group stages spread out. Say four teams per every group, hosted in 4, 5, 6 different countries. So you allow all these countries to host these group stages with several teams, and I just feel that would resonate more with me personally. I know I've been talking to a lot of players, so it's tough to expect that both Davis Cup and ATP Cup will survive 6 weeks apart. To be honest, I know it's different because ATP Cup kicks off the season, and it is a different format of the Davis Cup, which is the most historic team competition in our sport, the one that we value the most. And of course, we want to see Davis Cup living for a long time. But I don't see both of them.
Yeah, but
Yes,
how is it going to
I think
change?
so. Sorry?
How is it going to change? I mean,
Well, in my opinion, they have to merge. So there's been talks about that even before the two competitions were changed into these formats that we have today. And I know there's been some extensive talks between ATP and the ITF and the Cosmos Group to create a solution for the future that would serve both competitions and hopefully creating one Super Cup. I think that's necessary because for me personally, it will be very difficult to play every single year both competitions. So I'm going to have to choose. And I think that's going to be the case for many other players. So I don't think this is sustainable model for our tennis.
Novak, you're on a winning streak, and when you come to a tournament, having won so many matches, does that give you confidence? Are you aware that you're on a streak, or are you wary of conceding ground?
Of course, I mean when you win a Grand Slam at the beginning of the season, and I've been lucky to win so many Australian Opens, and that always started off my year in a great way, in a very positive manner, gave me a lot of confidence, and I know that every time I would win Australian Open, I would have a great season after that, so hopefully that can be the case again. and I'm aware of the streak. I'm aware of the fact that I'm feeling great on the court. And of course, when you win that many matches, it translates to your high level of confidence. But I'm aware that it can easily be disturbed as well and lost. So I try to approach every tournament and every match as a fresh start, basically. Continuation of the great streak, yes, from the confidence perspective, but fresh start game-wise.
Novak,
The last two, yeah.
you were world number one, and you've won so everywhere in the world. You think with this, playing for such a long yet, you think there's some room of improvement every time?
Yes, there is room for improvement, and that's my biggest motivation. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why I keep on playing this sport, and why I put a lot of effort and dedication every single day, because I feel that the tennis is a great place for me to improve, not just in tennis, but also as a human being, to build my character, because tennis, like no other place in life, triggers me, triggers my emotions, and it's a great way for me to understand myself on a deeper levels. I see tennis as a great school of life in a way, and I also enjoy it. I really love to hold the racket. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the journey. I have a great team of people around me that puts a lot of energy and faith in me, in my game, and together we create beautiful things on the court, and I'm grateful for that.
Last one.
Novak, it's great to see you back here in Dubai. I know you haven't won it since 2013. You're in amazing form, but how did you feel when you heard out your great rival Roger had to pull out of the tournament?
Well, it was a surprise, to be honest. I mean, I knew that he was struggling with an injury in the Australian Open, but I think no one knew really what is the injury, or what is the extent of that injury, and I really don't like to see anybody going through a process of surgery. I've been through that once, and hopefully the last time in my life. I know that for doctors that's routine-like procedure, but it's quite invasive, and I know it creates also a psychological trauma, So I'm really sad to see Roger and Kevin Anderson going through that kind of procedures, and I hope that they will be back very soon, because I mean, Roger is Roger. This sport needs it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.